Greetings and thank you for joining us at futuremoneytrends.com. I have a great guest for you guys today. It's a very, very close friend, somebody who I look to as a business mentor, somebody who I trust in his opinion that I highly respect. Please listen to this entire interview. Very well-researched individual, very smart, somebody who's on the cutting edge when it comes to personal finance. He's studied the banks. He's studied gold. He's studied history. Just a great guest for us today, especially in these times going into the end of 2016. Our guest today is the founder and chief investment strategist and editor of Wealth Research Group. So you can find them at wealthresearchgroup.com. Lior Gantz. Lior, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Lior, let's start right off for everybody. First of all, again, everybody, this is an interview. You want to listen to the whole show. Good friend of mine, somebody who I look to as a mentor. Lior, let's start off with something that no one's talking about. Not Zero Hedge, not Drudge Report, not even my own newsletter. And we were talking about it before the call, and that's the LIBOR rate. And this is probably the most important interest rate out there. What's going on with that right now?
Well, if you don't know this, LIBOR is it's interest rate set for intrabank lending. So in 2008, if you remember, what really caused that initial panic was that banks stopped trusting each other. Banks need liquidity on hand for depositors and for liquidation for investors, etc. If they need to pay more in interest rates to other banks, this creates like a snowball effect where nobody has liquidity anymore, and that's what caused 2008. And it's creeping up, like 40 or 50% the last I heard in a matter of a few days. So this is very fishy. And remember, this fiat monetary system is built mainly on trust. When any of the central banks issue currency, it's basically an IOU. Since 1971, since the 15th of August 1971, when Nixon changed this entire planet into a fiat monetary system, whenever a central bank issues currency, it actually, it's just a promise to pay with taxation involved. So if the tax receipts aren't enough, you go into deficit spending and print money. What's going on right now is that with such uncertainty about the U.S. election and the Italian referendum at the 4th of December, and with what happened just now on October 1st with the SDR introducing the Chinese RMB currency inside of it, there's many global changes, and this causes a lot of tension. So look for very, very violent corrections like we see right now in the major indices in the next few weeks.
Yeah, certainly a lot of catalysts out there. Not only do we have the Fed, again, the whole hype with them possibly raising interest rates, even though everybody knows even if it went up, it's not going up very high, not even over 1%. But, then you've got the Italian potential type Brexit move, type vote. And, of course, the U.S. election here with Donald Trump and crooked Hillary Clinton. Lior, a lot of us are investing in mining shares. I know Wealth Research Group is focused on wealth building, but you've created an entire section called steroid stocks, which are focused on smaller microcap companies, specifically ones that are cyclical, like the junior resource sector. How do you categorize the mining companies, for people who are looking at them? Because often I get people go, why did I recommend this over Barrick or a big company or a producing company? How do you categorize these mining stocks before you invest?
Sure. So basically, Wealth Research Group initially, it's a long-term outlook wealth building. It's building a financial fortress of assets and knowledge, and is geared and designed for every person to just have a rich plethora of information so he can apply himself and get relaxed and mentally prepared for a lifelong career in investing. So we try to do everything we can to teach investors, veteran and novice, how to avoid catastrophic risks and make sure that they sleep good at night. So we have an entire section called Wealth Stocks, which is our long-term compounding monsters, and we've recommended 2 companies this year, and they've done very well. And then, in January and February this year, we saw this explosive move starting in the mining shares, and we just focused our entire attention on that. And our theme is to create Metalionaires. Metalionaires are astute resource investors who understand the cyclicality, the volatility, and the inherited risks inside of the resource sector, and still they realize that this is the only way and the best way to basically cut the curve from 20, 30, 40 years that it takes to make real money in stocks, over time, into a 2 to 5 year period with sophisticated strategies. And then inside of that, we do categorize them into steroid stocks, targeted takeovers, and then our newest theme is called the safety play. The steroid stocks are companies with superb management teams. The people behind them are the top jockeys. I'm talking the best people, most vetted people in the industry. And I've researched over 758 companies this year. We're talking about the 6-7 top management teams, and we've had a lot of success with that. All of these steroid stocks needs to have a very powerful flagship project and a very safe jurisdiction to go in, great financials, and then look out. The potential takeover targets, that's a very small niche. What we've done there is we've identified out of hundreds of companies which small cap companies have projects adjacent to large cap companies. Now, as you know, the Swiss Central Bank and the Norwegian Central Bank have begun buying mining shares by the billions. Now, these mega cap companies, which we all know, they have a lot of cash at hand, and now they are looking for new projects. So if you have a project right adjacent to their project, it's a very high likelihood that they'll get bid and taken over. Now, when these things happen, and we've seen it many times before, the stocks goes ballistic. So you need to position yourself early, even before the rumors begin. And we've identified quite a few of them, and now we're just looking for the ideal price. So if you just subscribe to Wealth Research Group on the homepage, just take us for a test drive. You'll be able to take a chance and look at exactly what we're doing. The new niche is safety play, and the reason why we're doing this is because we see that many people are get shaken out real easy by corrections. And so we've, instead of getting frustrated and looking at the 99% of traditional companies, we're looking at the 1% of companies that do something very unique, and that's called satellite resource investing. If you remember the days of the gold rush in San Francisco, the guy who made the most money is called Levi Strauss, and he sold the jeans to all these peoples. He sold the pictures. The people who got rich sold picks and shovels. Exploration is an incredibly lucrative business if you find gold. Gold production is very, very lucrative if you got a low-cost mine and you got the right people. But the satellite industry, the ones that provide all the services, it's like a toll road. You get a little piece of the action out of every company that does business, and you take little risks because you don't have the traditional mining risks. So, Danny, I got to tell you, we found a company right now that has all these characteristics, and the big thing about it is, and I've researched this company, and I just got off the phone literally half an hour ago with the CEO. They have an expansion plan for the next 5 years to put the company 2,000% up to where it is today. Now, I can't give away the ticker, but what you can do is go to wealthresearchgroup.com/goldcashflow, and you can take a look at all the details. The full report is right there. I mean, It took us like 3 months to get a hold of this company.
Lior, it's very interesting. So gold cash flow, we'll definitely check it out and have the link. The mining sector, I can't not talk about this. Last week we had a big plunge in the gold price, huge move in the mining shares. Although you look at a chart for 2016 and we're actually up 16%, 17% for gold. The mining shares are still up 100% plus. What are your thoughts right now? Is now a time to be entering some positions, or I know you're big on cash. What's your thoughts on adding to positions right now?
Here's the thing, and this is a very good question. What gold bugs usually do is they either go for the physical or the GLD or the other large indices. Now these contain many companies, and some of them are overvalued. So if you're looking to invest in the mining sector, there's 2,000 publicly traded companies. You got to do a lot of research. For instance, one of our previous picks, K92 Mining, that company, we followed it through to commercial production, which it just announced. Now they came out with a news release about this other project that they have, and the numbers are spectacular. The stock is up 10%. I think today we just with the market closing on 13th of October. So here's the thing: you can't just invest in the industry itself. That's not wise at all. If you ever want to make it in the mining sector, you got to be real strategic and real specific, and you got to be a first mover. And that's exactly the type of companies we look for. We look for the companies that are doing something first, that is very hard to copy, and there's little competition. Now that's very unique if you think about it, Danny. Gold, silver, zinc, uranium, the entire resource sector, all companies are looking for the same product and are producing the same product. This is not like Apple, where you got this iPhone, which is just Apple selling it. All companies are doing the same thing. So you got to look for very specific competitive advantages or something that cannot be copycats. So with this company at wealthresearchgroup.com/gold cash flow, what you're going to see is this is a company that is in a country that has only one more company doing the same thing, but they're 800% more expensive than the company that we found.
Sure.
So you know what? Cash is important. You can't argue that the S&P 500 is at century high valuations. You got to wait out to find some great long-term stocks. Some of the mining shares, yes, they're overvalued. You got to wait out for them as well. Cash is important, but you just can't miss out on some of these very, very lucrative opportunities if they are safe. If they are safe, that's the key point.
Sure. And, even looking at this big rally we've had, we're still really low compared to where these mining shares and their valuations should be. Lior, we're going to have to cut it off here. We'll have to connect with you in a week or two for a follow-up interview, talk more macro stuff. Maybe we'll wait 3 weeks, actually. Maybe we'll wait till the election. Should be interesting times ahead, everybody. Lior Gantz of wealthresearchgroup.com. We'll have the links as well as the link to the gold stock suggestion he referred to. Again, Lior, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. What really caused that initial panic was that banks stopped trusting each other. Banks need liquidity on hand for depositors and for liquidation for investors, etc. If they need to pay more in interest rates to other banks, this creates like a snowball effect where nobody has liquidity anymore, and that's what caused.
Greetings and thank you for joining us at futuremoneytrends.com. I have a great guest for you guys today. It's a very, very close friend. Somebody who I look to as a business mentor, somebody who I trust in his opinion that I highly respect. Please listen to this entire interview. Very well-researched individual, very smart, somebody who's on the cutting edge when it comes to personal finance. And we were talking about it before the call, and that's the LIBOR rate. And this is probably the most important interest rate out there. What's going on with that right now?
If you don't know this, LIBOR is the it's interest rate set for bank intrabank lending. So in 2008, if you remember,
For joining us on the show.
thank you. Happy to be here.
Lior, let's start right off for everybody. First of all, again, everybody, this is an interview. You want to listen to the whole show. Good friend of mine, somebody who I look to as a mentor. Lior, let's start off with something that no one's talking about. Not Zero Hedge, not Drudge Report, not even my own newsletter. And he studied the banks. He studied gold. He studied history. Just a great guest for us today, especially in these times going into the end of 2016. Our guest today is the founder and chief investment strategist and editor of Wealth Research Group. So you can find them at wealthresearchgroup.com. Lior Gantz. Lior, thank you for